Welcome r/EntitledParents. Mum's new boyfriend starts acting as if he would be my dad, and at first made her back him through smart lies, till he overplayed his hand big time. Let me first give you some background, so you get where people are coming from. My father has left a few years prior. Mum bought a small house from the money from the divorce, and a few months before has gotten herself a boyfriend. At first I was truly happy she had moved on, but soon I realized she has fallen for some real piece of shit. Now you need to understand, my father was an alcoholic and a narcissist, so my mum's normal meter was truly broken. Anybody treating her halfway decent must have appeared like Prince Charming to her. So please do not judge her too harshly for her choice. I don't. Now he was not only halfway decent, he really treated her well, though he was in a hole to me. Brought her flowers, went 080 to it regularly, etc. But what I realized, and she did not, was that he was a parasite. He had maybe $100 to his name and his only income is support from the state, a couple $100. Now I already hear you ask, how did he afford flowers and going out? By living rent free, and have all his costs paid for till he gets back on his feet. One last thing, as the headline already told you, he soon started to show an immense entitlement towards me. Basically he said this is his house, so I now have to follow his rules. Of course I told him this is my mum's house, not his, and I do not have to do jack shit, unless mum tells me so. He took that really badly, since he had an ego problem, as you probably already guessed. I tried to tell my mum, but she would not believe me, since he always acted very nice to me when she was around, but as soon as she was no, the Cold War started. He pulled a lot of small shit like demanding in a patronizing voice I bring him some beer while watching TV with me while mum was on the loo. When she came back, he told her he had asked me nicely to bring him a beer when I stood up to get something, but I refused, insulted him and sat back down. So of course she told me to apologize and get him beer. I tried to explain she would not let me. So he kept pulling petty bullshit to establish dominance. After this whole story I asked my mum why she would always believe him and not let me explain. Apparently he had told her I was super jealous he was in the house and wanted to get rid of him by trying to make him look bad. So she backed him to show me he is not going anywhere. Time for the main act. I had gone out the night through Friday to Saturday and had come back at 3 AM. My mum was gone over the weekend and he fucking exploded. How dare I disrespect him like that coming home this late? I told him calmly he does not get to declare a curfew for me, and my mum allows me coming home this late, which is true, provided I stayed at the house of 3 specific people I'm friend with, and whose parents are my mum's friends. He flipped out even more, and called me a dirty liar. He then gave me the classic, as long as you put my legs under his table, and me being a smartass of course answered, this is my mum's and my house, you are a guest here. He screamed at me, he is gonna kick me out of the house and I will not be allowed back till my mum returns. I screamed back he cannot do that, since this is not his house. I threatened to call my mum. He, emboldened by her backing him up all the time, told me to do just that. But I better not lie to her and tell her what is actually happening. I put her on speaker and told her, he is trying to kick me out of the house till you come back Monday. It was Saturday. She did not believe me and told me to put him on the line. So he started by telling her I disrespected him as the man of the house by coming home so late and lying to him about this being okay when I stay at friend's house, and that I need to learn to respect him. So it is up to him how he disciplines me since she is not there. Then he lied and said he told me to be home by 1 AM. For the first time he let his mask slip and she picked up on it right away. So let me get this straight, I allow my son to be out till 3, but you think you get to overrule my decision on my son, and now you think you get to kick my son out of his house? He realized he fucked up. He tried to get her to take his side, but only dug his hole deeper. Well, he keeps not respecting me in my own house. If you let him win now he will never respect me. And you think the right punishment for disrespect is to kick him out for 2 days? Yes, finally you get it. I knew you would come around. Well, he did nothing wrong, since he was allowed to go out that long. You have no right just to overrule my decisions on my son. But I'm not done. Apparently you think the right punishment for your disrespect is to kick you out till Monday. But I only have $100. This is not fair. Where am I supposed to go? I'm sure my son had even less money, and you did not give a shit. You got 30 minutes to leave. I told the neighbor to check. If you are still here in half an hour he will call the police and have you trespassed. When I come home Monday we will talk. I'm such an idiot that I kept believing you over my son. Once mum came home I told Hannah how he kept pulling this bullshit on me, and she was so sorry she kept backing him up. I had tried to tell her many times he treated me exactly like my father did when she was not around. One major reason for their divorce. But since he treated her so differently and acted so differently than my father, she believed him that I was jealous and tried to get rid of him. But when she heard him say these words my father said so many times, "You owe me respect, since you live in my house," she suddenly realized I was telling the truth all along, while he was the liar. That is why she got so furious so fast. She never realized how badly he really treated me and how entitled he acted since had hidden it so well before. But when he started to talk about deserving respect in his own house, something my father kept saying, from me, a house he did not put penny into, but was somehow his. Even worse was thinking he could overrule her on her own son. My father kept overruling her decisions. So she finally saw through him and got all the evidence she needed I was telling the truth all along. They broke up that Monday. He never even got back into the house. They met for a coffee and she demanded her keys back. Originally she wanted to give him a month, but when she entered the bar they met at, he right away started to scream at her how dare she kick him out of the house like this, and that now he would never get the respect from Mimi he is entitled to. So she told him she is only here to ask for her keys back and that they are through. I saw this online and it fits so many situations like this. Sometimes people use respect to mean treating someone like a person, and sometimes they use respect to mean treating someone like an authority. And sometimes people who are used to being treated like an authority say, if you won't respect me, I won't respect you. And they mean, if you won't treat me like an authority I won't treat you like a person. And they think they are being fair but they aren't, and it's not okay. Substitute used to being treated like an authority with want to be treated like an authority and you have a good description for a lot of entitled people. Wow, I don't get this mentality. I have a stepdaughter who has lived with me since she was 1.5 years of age. She is now 18 and lives on her own. In all the years I raised her I never once told her things like you will call me dad, you will do as I say, or I'll kick you out. I never supplied discipline unless my wife asked for help, usually when it turned into an all-out fight between them. I have a daughter who is mine biologically, and I never wanted some other guy to replace me in her life. So I never wanted my stepdaughter to feel like I was trying to take her father's place. She called me by my first name for a long time and I treated her the same as my other kids, always. Around 10 to 11 she started calling me dad, and to this day I'm dad and her father is her father. This was all by her choice over the years as she realized and saw I was there for her. I respected her. I provided for her without a single complaint, ever. She realized the difference between a father or stepfather and a dad. Dad doesn't have to be blood. I never demanded respect from her. I earned it. I'm sorry you had to deal with someone like that. I don't understand that mentality and never will. You sound like a strong person, and I respect you for that. Take care, man. I had a parasitic father like this. He's no longer in my family's life. He was, and probably still is, an alcoholic, drug-abusing mooch who couldn't keep a job to save his life. He was physically and emotionally abusive to my mom, his children, and our pets. And he demanded respect. BC he was the king of the castle, lol. He never deserved respect. He had never earned it by being even a decent father. But he still believed he was entitled to it. I'm sorry you and your mom had to go through that twice. But I'm really glad that she's opened up to how she deserves to be treated. I'm glad she saw dude for who he really was. It's hard when you're bad about picking the right people to be around. I think we've all been played by somebody who we thought was a good person. When my mom started dating again, she chose someone who had a totally different personality than she would normally go for. They've been dating for 5 years now, and they're really happy together. Guy is super dorky, but he treats my mom great, so I'm happy for them. Oh, that really is a happy ending for you both. Your mother has taken several baby steps toward having a truly respectful and happy and equal romantic relationship with someone else. She had already learned that she deserved to be treated well, and now she learned that you do, as well, and that a man who truly loves her will respect her and her rules for her son, and that she can stand up and demand that. She'll grieve for a bit over the breakup. That's natural. But hopefully, she'll remember why, and move forward and not back, and next time, she'll choose better. Being a bit lonely and single is still better than being trod upon and abused in a loving relationship where the love is actually, I value you only for what you can give me and do for me and how you make me feel good. This is so damn difficult to read. Me and my brother had a similar parasite let into our house by our mother after a divorce. The first year he was decent, but after he lost his job he wouldn't contribute to the family whatsoever. He never found the chance to get a new job in the almost 8 fucking years he lived with us. He was the dirty guy living on the couch. The reason my mom did not kick him out any sooner, because there was hope at first to find a job for him. When the hope had faded, one of his parents died, and my mother thought it was too harsh to kick him out now. After that my grandma, mother of my mother, died, so she needed emotional support, which she got from him. And after that his father died, so she felt pity for him again. All the while my brother and I were growing up and not becoming the nice teenagers he expected from us. We were no longer some stupid kids who said yes to every damn thing he said or did. So of course there was a lot of conflict. Glad we don't live together anymore. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.